It's Wednesday, October 3rd. I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight we discuss two shows, but mostly Getsumen To Heiki Mina. Let's do this.
So as you might have noticed from the forums and from the other shows, this week and all next week probably, we are taking your questions. I bring this up now so we don't forget to talk about it later.
If you want to know things that Google does not know, that, are things only known to me and Rim, ask us. This is your chance, perhaps your only chance.
Yep, a while ago we did a, Ask Rim and Scott, and most of the questions were personal questions, but a lot of them were, computery whatever, and we decided, partly due to people demanding another show like that, to do a whole week of questions. Sometime in the future, once we have questions.
Yep. Now, if you want your question to actually be answered, because of course we're not just going to answer every question, make sure that the question is a question that can't be answered by Google. Make sure it's a question that doesn't take forever to talk about it, because then we'll probably just turn it into a show idea instead of a question. Make sure it's a question that's not stupid. And if you want us to answer it on Wednesday, make sure it's an anime, manga, or comic question.
Yep, either go to the forums and post it there in the relevant thread. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Or email us, geeknights@frontrowcrew.com.
Also, please, when you send us your questions, try to send us just the question and not like this giant essay with a question hidden somewhere in there. Just ask the question.
Yeah, we're not going to put the effort to find your question.
Yeah, just ask the question in as few words, concisely, and I guess...
Not the way Scott just told you how to ask
exactly.
Right, so what do you got in the news?
Well, you know Tintin, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Tintin's, that's good comics right there.
I've never actually read Tintin.
I read a little Tintin, and I've seen some Tintin cartoons, and I know I want to read some Tintin, but it's sort of hard to... It's sort of hard to figure out what to buy, because it's not like now I'm reading like Dick Tracy and stuff, because IDW is publishing like Dick Tracy, Volume 1, a whole lot of it, Volume 2, a whole lot of it, in order, the whole thing, right? But Tintin, there's not really anything like that, and there's some like censored volumes, and stuff like that.
I'd imagine reading Tintin is a lot like reading Harlock. Just pick one and go with it, and don't worry. Don't even try to figure out what chronology there is or what happened when.
Yeah, it's mostly just, separate adventures. It's not like Johnny Quest. You don't have to watch them in any order. This is a multi-parter, but a multi-parter, all the parts will be included together. So Tintin's cool. I like Tintin. It's fun, classic adventure stories. Well, they're going to be making some United States live action Tintin movies.
Huh.
3 Tintin movies. 1 with the Peter Jackson action, 1 with the Steven Spielberg action, and 1 with the We Don't Know Who action. Oh no, it's going to be motion capture with 3D, not live action.
Oh,
whatever.
Good game.
Yeah.
Outstanding way to read that article. We're bringing the news.
I'm
we
reading
are the
this
source
article so much, so I'm linking
news.
the article so someone else can read it and catch us when we don't read it. But yeah, this is pretty cool, and I think that this might encourage someone to reprint the Tintins in an accessible format, so that way they can profit off of the heightened interest due to the movie.
Huh.
And also, I'll be able to buy the Tintin comics that I wanted.
Yeah, I hope the movie's good. We know how movies go when they're adapted from comics or anything like that.
Well, it's being written by Stephen Moffat, who is the writer of the new Doctor Who and some other BBC show called Jekyll. So, I don't know, because I've never seen either of those, whether this guy can write or not.
I hear that the new Doctor Who is kind of awesome, but I haven't actually seen it.
I've never seen old or new Doctor Who.
You've never? Oh, man, the old Doctor Who is the bomb diggity.
So what do I know?
Well, you know that you should watch some Doctor Who?
I know I should read some Tintin.
Right. So, we've mentioned this off and on obliquely, but I think now that it's been announced officially, we don't have to really beat around the bush anymore. We are going to be guests at the New York Anime Festival in Manhattan at the Jacob Javits Center, December 7th through 9th.
Yep.
And if you are anywhere in the New York City area, I would highly recommend you come, at least for Saturday, because we'll have a table. We're doing 4 shows. We'll be hanging out, doing some match game action. As long as our artist, who may or may not still be working on it, finishes, we'll have some t-shirts to sell there.
Oh, yeah, they better hurry up with that. The time's running out here.
Yeah, I gotta call our artist probably tonight or tomorrow and ask what the dealio is.
Yeah. But yeah, I was originally skeptical about how this convention was going to go because it is a for-profit.
Scott, you don't need to give this speech every time we
I
talk
gotta give
about.
the speech again.
It's a for-profit con by the same people who did the New York Comic Con, and we wonder if that's going to be good or bad, but it seems like these people know what they're doing because they're actually asking people who know about anime cons how to run an anime con, and they've got a lot of talent here, and everything seems to be run the way it should be run, and we're optimistic.
At the very least, if the convention sucks balls and is the worst thing it could possibly be, we'll be there, and our stuff will be awesome.
Not only will we be there, and we are doing our 4 events, but we have some special guests who are going to be there with us.
People in tow, if you will.
None other than Dave Riley and Joel White of Fast
You don't want
to
to say they're definitely going to show up.
They said they're definitely going to show up. They confirmed with me. They have badges. They are coming.
All right.
If they don't come, well, we'll see what happens. But
see, I don't like to say that kind of thing, and then if they don't show up, it makes us look bad. But
no, it'll make them look bad. Believe me, I'll make
all
sure.
right,
that
everyone, if they don't show up, remember, don't tell us. Tell them. They screwed up, not me.
No, they said they're coming.
All right.
They confirmed. I have the email where Dave and Joel said.
So if they don't show up, we're posting that email.
In the very least, Dave said that both of them were coming. Joel did not directly contact me.
Well, Joel also supposedly has disappeared from the face of the earth. So.
But that happens semi-regularly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the New York Anime Festival is going to be big. It's in the Javits. But there's one other thing. It's kind of a dual news here that they're doing that I saw the news and I thought, but then I actually read it and I'm intrigued. Apparently, the New York Anime Festival is doing a cosplay/masquerade kind of the way we always wanted it to be done.
Well, sort of.
They are pre-selecting. There are only going to be 40 acts, and they are going to pre-select them based on what you send them ahead of time.
Yeah. 40 acts is a lot of acts, so they must predict that there's going to be a big turnout at the con.
Well, there probably will be, because one, if the New York Comic Con, both iterations, was any indication, if you advertise something at all in the New York City area, pretty much everyone's going to come, no matter what it is.
It's either going to be crazy crowded or not.
I imagine it's going to be crazy crowded. In fact...
I hope so. That's good for me. I'm a guest there.
Yeah. But they're pre-selecting 40 acts, and each act is going to get 3 minutes on stage and all that business. So it's probably going to be the best that a cosplay in this area could be, because it's going to be, as far as they'll be able to tell, the 40 best, most prepared, most professional acts out there. But here's why I think they're going to get 40 good acts. This is not just the cosplay or the masquerade for the New York Anime Festival, but they're going to send the winners to the World Cosplay Summit.
Oh man, this is a real prize, and not just someone saying you're awesome, but an actual prize.
Yeah, whatever
big prize.
Whatever act wins, if it's 2 people can go. So if it's an act of 6 people, they have to pick 2, which I can just imagine the drama that is going to happen.
You have to pick the 2 before you
I can still imagine the drama of any cosplay group with more than 2 members trying to decide who gets designated as the person who will go if they win.
Yeah, the thing is they have to decide before they get up there, so there'll be no grumpiness after they win.
There will be grumpiness, but they won't be able to fight over it because it'll be set in stone.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty cool. Because
it might actually discourage cosplays with more than 2 people.
It might, but at the same time, just the way this is set up, if they're going to pick the 40 best, even if a big group of 6 goes, and even if they don't expect to win, I imagine this is going to be 40 pretty damn good cosplay skits. I might watch it.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it because, even if you take, let's say 70 people sign up and you pick the best 40, only me, how many of them there might be the 40 best, but what if there's only 10 good ones at all?
Well, I mean, it depends. Otakon last year had, I think, 2 or 3 good ones.
Yeah.
Otakon seems to average 2 or 3 good ones. But Otakon lets anyone come in.
Oh, well. It'll be interesting, to say the least.
If anything, I imagine this is going to attract a lot of those semi-professional, super serious, serious cat, this are serious business cosplayers.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Yeah, because whatever people may say about cosplay.com and all those people who are a little too much into cosplay.
They are too much into cosplay. They're not people I would hang out with or talk to, and I kind of don't like their attitude. But the people who take the cosplay seriously, they take it seriously. Thus, they tend to do it better.
Yeah.
Than people who don't take it so seriously.
Things of the day. So Emily showed this to me. She showed it to Scott and then me, and it was pretty damn cool, so I want you all to see it. It's an animation by someone who attended the Gobelins School in France, which is... It is a school in France, I think it's in Paris, where people study visual art and animation and that sort of thing, and their film festivals tend to bring out a lot of awesome animations.
Well,
And
Emily told me that, like at NYU, right, everyone sort of has to make their own project, and you might get some help from people and whatnot, but, if you have it's an animation class, you make your animation and you submit it and it's yours. But apparently at this school, like they team up, like the whole group of people makes one thing. So even though they're just punk animation students and usually, an animation student project is not as quality as, a real, big Pixar production.
that's not to say they aren't awesome.
No, but when you have a bunch of them teaming up together on one thing instead of everyone doing their own thing, there is a opportunity there for high quality things to be produced and things that come out of this school because they're all done by groups of kids and students are pretty awesome.
So thus, pirates, which I like to alternately call the way One Piece should have been, because I gotta tell you, there's a fight and it ends in about a minute. Someone wins.
Oh my god.
The fight is choreographed. It's not just people yelling. People don't say a word. One Piece could have been so awesome. See,
I like how we go from student animation that's pretty cool, why you should watch it, to One Piece sucks.
well, there's the thing, and this just reminded me again, because every time I see anything about One Piece, or any art from One Piece, or anything from anything else that reminds me of One Piece, I remember, oh yeah, One Piece has everything going for it. It's happy stylized pirates. Nothing could be more up my alley than happy stylized pirates, unless they were also air pirates and had dragons. But, One Piece just didn't deliver. One Piece is garbage. I can't stand that show. It goes on forever and nothing fucking happens.
Yeah, I just can't stand any show where stuff goes on forever and nothing happens.
You watched a lot of One Piece.
I didn't watch that much One
it.
Piece. I read 11 volumes of it, which I think I just talked about 2 weeks ago. You talked about it recently.
At some point, but yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, this animation is pretty cool, and I like how it ends. That's all I want to say.
All right. My thing of the day, I had this thing of the day in the hopper for a while, so, of course, it's no longer on YouTube, because the BBC must have told them to take it off YouTube. So I'm just going to link to the BBC page about it, and it's up to you to go find video of it, be that legally or illegally. It's up to you. Basically, you know Spider-Man, right?
I know.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is Spider-Man. And
Yep. It was the original Spider-Man was written by Stan Lee, and we just talked about that before. But who's the original artist who drew Spider-Man before anyone else?
Fuck if I know. Stan Lee?
No, Stan Lee can't draw.
I don't know anything about comics.
Exactly. The original artist of Spider-Man was Steve Ditko, and there's a reason nobody knows that except for superhero fans. It's because he's a total recluse hermit.
Huh, kind of like Bill Watterson.
Sort of, pretty much. I mean, after he quit, even while he worked for Marvel Comics, right? He wouldn't interview with anyone. He wouldn't let anyone take his picture. He wouldn't, make any sort of public, facing appearance of himself. Sort of the opposite of Stan Lee. And I think he was quoted, at least many places on the internet, quote him as saying, I want people to, just look at my work and, not consider, my personality in the work. Just it's about my work. Look at my work. Don't look at me.
Well, at least he didn't bold his drawings randomly.
No, he's actually, if you take all the words out of like an old Spider-Man comic, you can see Steve Ditko is pretty awesome with the comic drawing. But he drew a whole shit ton of comics for Marvel, and he invented Doctor Strange and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. And he eventually quit Marvel. He didn't say why. He never said why.
Huh.
Yep, and he's an interesting person to learn about, and he's actually an excellent artist. I like his art a lot. That's one of the reasons I still buy those big black books, essential books full of Marvel comics, even though most of the comics are not the greatest, because his art is awesome in there. But this thing of the day is a BBC documentary called In Search of Steve Ditko. And this guy named Jonathan Ross goes around talking to Steve Ditko's co-workers, looking up everything he can find about the guy. And I watched a bunch of it on YouTube before it got taken off. I didn't see the whole thing. Maybe I'll try to get a DVD or something. See me, I don't know. I think the BBC actually, don't they let you download their shows from their site?
I don't know,
but it's a really cool documentary. You can learn about Steve Ditko, and there's one part at the end that's super awesome. You want me to tell you what it was?
Probably, because people might not be able to find the video.
All right. So towards the end of the thing, right, they find out, because Steve Ditko, they know he lives in New York, and he works in New York, and he still makes comics. He just doesn't work for Marvel or do anything famous now. They knew where his office was. So this Jonathan Ross guy and Neil Gaiman go. They're like, we're gonna go up there. We're gonna go up there. so they don't, they have a cameraman, but basically in the documentary, because I watched this part, they don't actually like go up there because with the camera, because they don't let the camera guy up there and he doesn't want to take his picture.
Man,
or anything.
hidden camera, YouTube.
I know, but you could get in trouble because it's in his private office.
Why don't we just stand outside the office or whatever? He has to walk out at some point.
Because no one knows what he looks like.
Just take pictures of everyone who walks out.
And he's like an 80-year-old man now, so.
Take pictures of everyone who walks out, and then put a thing up where you're like, all right, anyone who recognizes any of these other people, tell us so we can take them out of the list of possible people.
He goes out the back door with a mask, and he goes out like Spider-Man swinging on rope.
Yeah.
No, but they went up there, and then when they got down, they talked about what happened up there. And apparently he was really nice, and he gave them comics, and he talked to them for a while, but he wouldn't do an interview, and he wouldn't let them take his picture, or, whatever. But yeah, this is something really cool that anyone who cares about comics should probably pay attention to. And even if you don't care about comics, the documentary is actually really interesting in more ways than one.
So, since we went super long yesterday talking about Burning Wheel, even though I get the feeling we said the same thing over and over again in not so many words, but
I get the same feeling as well, but I was super tired.
This show might not be super long, but at the same time, to make up for the fact that we don't know how long we'll go about the show we were going to talk about, we're talking about 2 shows.
Oh, man.
Luckily, I don't have a lot to say about this show, which is sad because I expected when I saw the title of this show and when I saw the first 2 minutes of it that this was going to be the shit, the business, something awesome. But no, Chara Go Nagai World is Go Nagai's characters. You may remember Go Nagai from such things as, well, you should know who Go Nagai is by now if you listen to Geeknights.
Yeah? What did he make?
Devilman.
What else?
Devil Lady.
What else?
But this is a kind of anime of super deformed versions of his characters all fighting and interacting with each other in some sort of weird, I don't know, it's really crappy, and that's all I really have to say about it.
I think the biggest problem with it is that it actually tried to make a plot to explain the super deformity.
Not only that, but it's really, really, really slow. You'd expect funny things to happen, but no, it's just a scene that takes forever and nothing happens, and these little super deformed characters just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
And sometimes they don't talk. They just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk.
And none of the jokes are funny, even if whether or not you know what they're referencing, it's still not funny. It gets semi-serious every now and then, and it's so not worth watching, and it's so much longer than it should be.
Yeah, I mean, we only watched I think we watched one whole episode of it, and if something's chibi, it's got to be crazy and energetic with stuff happening all over the place and crazy fun times.
It's got to at least be like Dragon Half. This is not Dragon Half.
This is like a really bad excuse to make some Go Nagai fan service. They took Go Nagai characters, drew them in a chibi way, and combined them all together in one sort of long, drawn-out, slow plot that's not interesting and is very cliche and bleh. And it could have been way cool. I mean, get some Messenger versus Cutie Honey action could have been pretty awesome. But no, they didn't do that.
So, I guess you could call this a geek bite because it's so short, but I anti-recommend this so hard. Just don't even think about watching it. There is no redeeming...
I guess if you're like some huge Go Nagai fanboy, you might be able to extract some enjoyment from this, but I don't know how much.
There's so
Maybe if you
much...
fast forward while you watch it.
It's just so slow. And you wouldn't expect something like that to be slow. You'd expect people to be killing each other all SD.
I couldn't even force myself to keep paying attention to what was going on while I was watching it and doing nothing else at the same time.
I almost fell asleep.
All right, we got to talk about the show we really want to talk about.
Yeah, let's
now?
talk about the real show because I'm done with this crap.
All right, so the show we're actually going to talk about today is called Getsumen To Heiki Mina.
You might know it as that bunny girl show.
Right. We only watched one episode of it, but I think that's enough. Now, the story behind the show is this. There's another thing. I don't think it's an anime, but it's definitely a live-action movie and a manga and a series of novels, I think, called Densha Otako, which translates to Train Man. And the story of Train Man is, I'm pretty sure it's a true story, but it's sort of hard to tell these days because it's become sort of like a modern mythology of, this otaku. He's a nerdy otaku in Japan, and he's got no friends and no life, but he's an otaku. And he, helps some woman on a train, while he's riding a train, as, even otaku ride the train, and he helps some woman who's a normal woman. And then they fall in love and get married and live happily ever after.
Hooray!
And in Densho Otoko, there is an anime, much like in Genshiken. You have the
Kujibiki Unbalanced, which is, I mean, I like Genshiken, but I really liked Kujibiki. The problem is when they made Kujibiki into an actual, anime, because it was so popular, they didn't make it as crazy as it was in Genshiken.
Yep.
It should have been exactly as stupid and crazy as the Genshiken version was, and it would have been awesome.
I agree. But it's sort of also like the Itchy and Scratchy to The Simpsons, So, Getsumen To Heiki Mina is the anime that is in Densho Otoko, and this is that anime on its own.
Now, I guess the one thing you'll have to know if you decide you want to watch this show is that it's not a show that's meant to be taken seriously.
No, I mean, here's the plot of the show. You ready? There are aliens. Aliens like Earth sports. Sounds similar to Buzzer Beater? You're wrong.
I'd forgotten about Buzzer Beater.
I know.
I had gotten past that in my life, and you had to bring that back up.
It's just funny that there's two shows involving aliens and sports. You gotta admit that's a strange coincidence.
See, we gotta get Bugs Bunny in here, because maybe we should talk about that.
Space Jam?
Talk about that on a Thursday.
Space Jam?
Space Jam's pretty damn good.
Space Jam, the original Space Jam? Awesome.
It had Newman in it.
Yeah. So, the thing is, the aliens aren't playing sports, but they're fans of sports on Earth. And occasionally, those alien sports fans come to Earth and they cause trouble. Because, they're aliens and they're all, like a normal crazy sports fan causes
it's like
trouble in the stands.
It's like if a Mets fan goes to a Yankees game and causes trouble.
All right. But now you've got these aliens who are not only like bad fans, they're troublesome fans, but they're also aliens. They cause double trouble. Like, they're a giant pile of slime filling up the stadium or something like that. And you have this girl. And this girl doesn't like carrots. And she's trying to be like a TV anchor. That's like she's like an intern for at a TV anchorness.
Yeah.
She's one of those
a
high school student or
really
something.
cute, really spunky, really motivated kind of anime girls.
Yeah, she's pretty cool actually. She's not stupid, and she says funny things, and she's not perfect, but then again, she's not just so dumb that you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And she's trying to do this apprenticeship. And at that part of the show with the apprenticeship for the TV station is sort of like Maiko 2010, where you have this cast of like a production crew for a show, and they're all different kinds of characters, mixing it up, and there's fun times.
Now, little warning, Maiko 2010, the anime, is really, really funny and worth watching.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of these really short episodes about this radio station that has a robot for its, radio show host.
But, Maiko 2010, the anime, is based on Maiko 2010, the manga. And I remember once, because we saw Maiko 2010, the anime, at the RIT Anime Club when one of those who shall not be...
In the year 2000.
Because one of those who shall not be named fan-subbed it in his secret fan-sub cloister and showed it to the club as like this special deal at a Saturday something.
Yep.
So, it was all obscure and no one could watch it or find it, and then the manga came out, and I saw it in the store, and I thought, hot damn, the Maiko manga, I'm totally gonna get this, and I open it up, and the first word I see is Sexabot.
Yeah, because
it.
The original manga, Maiko, the robot
Sex
radio
slave.
show host, was actually a robot sex bot that was used for being a show host instead of for sexing.
It was really a creepy, perverted manga, and I don't recommend reading it, but I recommend watching the show because it's really funny.
Yeah, the anime just removes all the pervertedness, mostly.
And this has the same kind of vibe. And I'll warn you, though, the other half of the show, Scott's, their production, news, anchors, whatever. This girl is a superhero, magical girl. She turns into a bunny girl and
with
fights...
carrot rockets on her butt, but
Yes.
she hates carrots.
And the carrot rockets are really cute,
I think
sadly.
she turns into the super cat bunny girl when she eats a carrot, which she doesn't like.
Something like that. But I think she forces herself to eat some carrots later.
Yeah.
She'll get used
I've only
to
seen
it.
one episode, but there's like this bunny-based, like this rabbit fighting force of superhero people, and they fight against the aliens who screw up the sports on
Now,
Earth.
this part of the show has a very Gatekeepers vibe. Just because when the bunny girl awakens and all that business, and it cuts to the bunny girl base on the moon, and it's just...
Yeah, pretty much this show is Gatekeepers plus Maiko 2010 plus a little bit of high school.
Yeah, but minus...
Well, no, it has the same amount of high school as Gatekeepers had.
I guess what it lacks is the really dumb parts of Gatekeepers, at least so far, because Gatekeepers, I gotta admit, really disappointed me.
Yeah. Well, the action parts of Gatekeepers were the business, though.
Yeah, the
And
show
they only lasted one episode. They didn't drag them out.
Well,
they were all cool and choreographed. And
I think the problem with Gatekeepers was that it didn't go anywhere. And that, I mean, the best part of that show, as far as I was concerned, was the fact that the base was like under the school and no one ever knew, and those dust storms just randomly came.
the pointing commander.
Oh,
was,
man.
Like Phoenix Wright's godfather or something.
God, we used to imitate that all the time.
Yep.
That was kind of a thing.
But yeah, it's something about the pointing. But yeah, if you're looking for a comedic anime, this is sort of recent. I mean, it came out in January of this year.
It's one of those, just don't worry about it. Just kind of sit back, suspend your disbelief, and roll with it. And it's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah.
The main character's Nemesis girl. She's one of those Nemesis, but she doesn't get annoying, at least not yet.
Yep. And I think there's 11 episodes, according to Anime News Network.
Yeah, it's really lighthearted and really fun. And I mean, there are other comedies out there, but I could see myself watching the rest of this one if I didn't have anything better to do.
Yeah, it's not like some amazing, life-changing anime, but if you're looking for fun times and you want to fill those fun times with some short, cute, funny stuff, this is going to work pretty much for anybody, unless you're not human.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com, or you can send audio feedback via Odeo. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.